When it comes down to it, League is really just a game of deception. I heard this quote once from Yasuo, who said he picked it up from a friend he played with in Korea. I don't remember if it was Ole or Rush, the jungler, ex-jungler for C9. And when I started thinking about it, it actually made so much sense. It's a concept you can apply to so many things in the laning phase and to your fighting. But today I'll be mainly showing you different game-winning examples. We'll cover the rest in another video. But this is actually bigger than just in lane. It's actually one of the most important things for later on in the game, mid to late game, when you're trying to figure out how to win the game. I'd say it's one of the biggest mistakes that people make in Diamond all the way up to maybe low Masters, where people are way too obvious and by the textbook of how to play. And I mean, there's other problems with that rank, like they won't even know what the right textbook play is, but the main thing is just they try and attempt to play everything by the book and play it in a very obvious way. But what you have to understand is, if the enemy is at the same rank as you, they'll also know this book, they'll also know the playbook, they'll also understand what you're trying to do, which means they'll be prepared to fight against it. So playing by the book like this will never work. You have to play outside of the playbook. You have to get creative with your deception. You have to make the enemy believe, you have to convince them that you're going to do something, and then you have to catch them off guard and do something else. Because in the perfect world where, and I mean it's not even just a perfect world, but it's an actual world where you're playing ranked, most of the time most of the players in the lobby are going to be at the same rank, right? So what you know and what you intend to do is also obvious to the enemy team. They also understand what you're trying to do, so they're going to have some countermeasures up for when you attempt it, and they're going to be ready for it. And basically, neither side is going to want to commit to something if they know it's a losing situation. They only commit if it's a winning situation, or if it's an even situation. And when you try and get an advantage in League, you always have to take a risk. And the problem is, this might be, say, tanking Baron or tanking Dragon or something. And a good example would be Assassin players. Assassin players, the lower rank you go, the more they just try and play front-to-back fights instead of looking for a flank, right? And if you play front to back as an assassin, you'll always lose if the enemy just plays it normally. You have to look for a flank. This is just a very bare bones example, but you could take it so much further. I mean, just in the flanking, you look at a Diamond 1 to a Master player trying to flank an assassin, and then you look at a Grandmaster to Challenger player trying to flank an assassin. The Grandmaster and Challenger player will take more time to flank, but they'll take a more elaborate route a lot of times. The D1 to Masters players will take a very obvious flanking route, and a lot of times this won't work. This might mean in blue buff around the blue site, this might mean walking all the way around if you're trying to fight around that dragon area if you're on blue side. Or same thing if you're on that same blue side and you're trying to flank the Baron pit. A lot of times you have to go all the way around through the topside tri-bush to get that good flank. You have to go all the way through like the golems and then behind the red buff to actually make your flank work. Because if you just go to top lane tri-bush and then you try and go through the back of the Baron pit, a lot of times it's already expected and that's not going to work. And that's all it really is. It's just understanding that a play won't work if the enemy also knows the playbook that you're trying to follow. If the enemy has an idea of what you're trying to do, you won't be able to catch them off guard. And if you're not able to catch them off guard, you won't actually get a winning situation because they'll have some sort of countermeasure for it.
You guys are trolls.
If you've watched me play, you've probably seen I go for these long angles a lot of times. I try and get unexpected timings to get those picks and unexpected routes because, to be fair, I think to be able to do this correctly, you have to actually have a good understanding of waves, because some people might lose out on CS when they go for this. So you need to know like whether you're leaving a wave to be slightly pushing towards you or to just have a wave staying in stalemate, or if you're just pushing and then moving, which if you push and then move, you give your position away and you have to account for that. But the whole idea is that you're trying to open an unexpected timing to get those picks. that will win you the game, or those unexpected flank angles. League isn't just a game about how fast you can click or how well you can press your keys, because it gets to a point where you're playing against people that click just as good as you and press keys just as good as you and know the textbook plays and the rulebook and the playbook just as good as you do. And so the only thing that will actually make a difference there, where both sides are at the same skill level, is being able to catch someone off guard with deception. So when it comes down to it, League is really just a game about deception. That's all it really is. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, share it with your friends, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you guys for watching.